Aloha everyone. So I just want to share a quick update on what is happening with Maui's Bill 9, which proposes to phase out about half of the legal short-term rental condos here on Maui. The last video I released on this topic was after we had just completed the public testimony with the Housing and Land Use Committee. More than 300 people testified, and it took 5 different sessions through 5 different days to get through everyone. After the testimony was completed, the next step was for the Housing and Land Use Committee to move into deliberations, and they scheduled a hearing for July 2nd. So what happened in that meeting, and was a decision made on whether or not to advance Bill 9 to the next step? That's what we're going to talk about in this video.
Will the recessed Housing and Land Use Committee meeting of June 9th, 2025 come to order? It is now 9:04 a.m. on July 2nd, 2025. I'm Tasha Kama, Chair of the Housing and Land Use Committee.
Now, because I respect your time, I'll give you the bottom line first, and then we'll get into some of the commentary. But there was a very important statement made by one of the county representatives that came at the very end of the day. And unless you're a real estate nerd like I am, you probably didn't sit through the full 7 hours of video that it took to see it. So stick around for that, because it is a shocking revelation as to why the county is actually pushing this bill, and it is not affordable housing. Okay, as promised, the bottom line first. And what it boils down to is that no decision was made in the July 2nd meeting, and the next meeting to continue discussions is now scheduled for July 23rd. Now, as far as the July 2nd meeting was concerned, the anticipation was that it would be open to the public, where council members would ask questions of various experts that were invited. But what actually happened was, before the discussion even began, the committee decided to go into a closed-door executive session to discuss the legalities of the bill with Corporation Counsel. And for those that aren't familiar, Corporation Counsel is essentially the county's legal advisors.
I think for this initial executive session, it would just be the attorneys along with the council members, unless something comes up later that any of the resources are necessary. It would just be us explaining legality to the council members.
So before the meeting even started, they cleared the public from the council chambers and cut the video feed so they could go talk to the attorneys behind closed doors. Now, they originally estimated that the executive session would only take 5 to 15 minutes, and then they would open the meeting back up to the public.
5 minutes, okay. Sorry guys, we have to kick you out. Can you please start leaving now? Yeah. So we're going to reconvene at 9:25 in executive session.
Well, the closed-door meeting took a lot longer than anticipated. In fact, they didn't come back to the open session until almost the end of the day, more than 6 hours after they had kicked everyone out.
The recessed HLU meeting of June 9th will now reconvene. It is now 3:43 p.m.
What time?
3:43 p.m.
Of course, only the people that were actually in that meeting can know for sure what was discussed, but based on the amount of time it took alone, it is clear that there's a lot of concerns regarding the legal issues of Bill 9. There's a lot to consider when discussing the rights and liabilities of the county pertaining to the phase-out of these condos that have been legally operating as short-term rentals for decades. Take it for what it's worth, because like I said, we don't know what was discussed, but my personal opinion is that it's a good sign that the council is fully aware of the legal challenges that they would be facing if they do indeed pass this bill. And I've been saying from the very beginning that even if they do pass Bill 9, there's a good chance it would be overturned by the courts. And I hope that the county council fully considers the legal challenges and the legal costs that would arise from the forced phase-out of these short-term rentals. Now, after they finished their closed-door meeting, there was less than an hour remaining in the day for the open discussion. So I'm sure that a lot of people that were paying attention to the meeting lost interest by that point. But if you didn't see that last hour, you missed out on what I think is a very important statement from Maui County's Director of Communications and Public Affairs when one of the council members asked about how this bill will lead to more affordable housing. Let's take a look at the short clip of the question that was asked along with the county's official response.
What if this proposal doesn't yield the number of affordable units you're hoping it would? And because of that, because there's so much uncertainty about whether or not we're going to actually have a lot of affordable housing as a result of this proposal, this legislation on STRs, I asked whether or not you have a plan, or what are we going to do to provide permanent housing? And I mean, not just a plan, but like, when is it going to start?
I think it's our position that we have never looked at these units as potentially affordable. We look at these units as potentially attainable and adding capacity and moving us in the direction of adding more units to the market. As far as how many units would result in this transition, the overall goal for us is to, if any amount of units that we can get to convert is considered success. Any amount of units that we can bring online for long-term housing would be a success from where we're sitting.
So there you have it, straight from the county. These condos that they want to ban short-term rentals in would still not be considered affordable housing. To me, this is a shocking revelation. The narrative from the county and the testimony from the public that are in favor of Bill 9 was all focused on how it will create more affordable housing for island residents. People like myself who have been opposed to the bill have been trying to explain that even if the bill passes, these condos would not be likely to become affordable housing. And I have to say that it is somewhat gratifying to hear that confirmed directly by the county. Now, they say these properties wouldn't become affordable, but they would become obtainable. And I'm curious, who do they think they would become obtainable to? My opinion is that owners who need the short-term rental income to support their properties would likely have to sell to buyers that would use the property as a second home or a seasonal residence, which would do nothing to create affordable housing, and yet it would still cause all this significant harm to our tourism-based economy. And that is more likely to harm the people that they say they're trying to help. And furthermore, I just don't agree with the idea that they would consider the bill a success if any amount of units are converted to obtainable. So what I'm hearing is that they're willing to risk all the negative economic impacts that would certainly affect thousands of people for just the chance that a few properties would become not affordable but obtainable. That being said, I'm really curious to hear what you think. Let me know your thoughts on Bill 9 in the comment section below. And like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, the next meeting to continue the discussion isn't until July 23rd, so we still don't know how this will turn out. But I promise to keep you informed every step of the way. So if this is a topic that interests you, make sure to subscribe to the channel for future updates. Don't forget to hit the like button and share the video with anyone else you know who would find this information helpful. And also check out the link in the description below to the hotel zone condos for sale that I do recommend to my clients who are interested in buying a property that would continue to allow short-term rentals even if Bill 9 passes and stands up in court. I hope to see y'all in the next video. Aloha.